All right. So mudita, and I listened to and viewed the videos of the talks by Fabiola and Jay and Catherine. It's just so lovely and meaningful. Um, and I must admit, as I was on my way to the retreat, being aware, oh, I have to give a talk on joy the Monday I get back. I wonder what I'm going to say. And I must admit, the sense of joy felt a bit remote at that time, a bit inaccessible to me. And we were instructed by our teachers to have an intention, to write an intention on a lovely piece of paper, no less, that we could share with the group. Excuse me, I just have to put in my remote control gizmo here. Let's hope it works. Okay. And I went through several iterations the days before the retreat. And they were very ambitious, very heroic. And I kept saying, oh, that's too much. That feels a bit overwhelming. Pare it down, keep it simple. And what I landed on, or what landed for me, was the intention of allowing my heart to be nurtured. And in an awareness of also incredible gratitude for all the privilege that led up to my being able to just sustain my practice, living in a relatively peaceful, stable environment where I had the time and space to practice, and the privilege of making it to this retreat from Ohio to New Mexico, to have the resources to do that. And I listened to my battered heart that was in much need of some R&R in order to return back into the fray of daily life in this world on fire with a bit more strength, a bit more compassion and love and courage. And what I found was that joy spontaneously arose as I allowed my heart to be comforted and nurtured. Sometimes it arose gently and quietly, sometimes bubbling up buoyantly, sometimes bursting forth like fireworks as I received the nurturance and comfort from my heart. And nurturance was certainly at time in the form of love and compassion, as Fabiola spoke to, in having compassion for me first before I could have joy for others or even for myself. And sometimes in the form of facing barriers, as Catherine spoke to, and facing those difficulties and barriers that were in the way of letting my heart be nurtured. And as Jay said last week, joy is not the goal, but the fruit of the practice of wise effort, kindness, and compassion. And I'd like to just read some examples um, from some little scribblings I did during the retreat. And let me share my screen if I can figure out how to do this and show you a picture of what I'm talking about here. Can everybody see this picture? Wave at me if you can see it. Okay, great. Thanks, Lee. Thanks, Lee. This is what I call the lightning tree. You can see it from the lodge and from the meditation tent. And it's at the back of this beautiful alpine meadow and in front of these mountains. And it's been there for a long time. I've been to Vallecito several times and I revisit it every time. Um, Very inspiring. Many people take great inspiration, including me, from this tree that was hit in its heart by lightning. And I was just kind of meditating on the tree, and this is kind of what came up. The Buddha got it. It is also breathtakingly glorious and heartbreakingly, heart-openingly poignant. The lightning tree got struck in the heart and was set ablaze, and yet it is still held by and a part of this beautiful meadow, loving it all still, abiding within it, presiding over it, watching over it with amazing grace and dignity. This is what the Buddha got. How can you, we, I not love it all? The thousand sorrows and the thousand joys, each moment inviting our hearts to break wide open, to laugh and cry and let love and joy blossom. Cry for the joy in this moment. Savor and cherish this moment. Break open with gratitude. It will not always be so. May my heart be open to this moment. May I fall in love with this moment. May I cry tears of joy for this moment. And at the time, I was looking at this beautiful scene and this majestic tree and seeing it as a place that was being bombed and destroyed or having killing drought or weather conditions. And the impermanence and the poignancy of that and the cherishing of this moment of beauty and peace and calm was just glorious. And how can you not love it all? Um, so just one spontaneous moment in facing the challenges of the world and the joys and beauties of the world coming together in a very meaningful way. And I talked about falling in love with this moment, and there was an exercise that Chris Germer gave us after reading a poem, and I don't have a copy of the poem. If when I get one, I'll share it with everyone. But the poem was about falling in love with ordinary things, pleasant and unpleasant. And our exercise was to go out on a walk and see what you fell in love with. And in going for that walk, my heart just spontaneously fell in love with so many things. And for the rest of the retreat, my heart was falling in love with just these little ordinary moments. And here are some of the things I fell in love with. Raindrops falling in a mud puddle and spreading their concentric circles and intertwining in the mud puddle. An old rusty piece of farm equipment left by the side of the road. My lightning tree all over again. The first rays of sun streaming across the meadow. An ordinary bird chirping. My cranky left hip that was crankier than it's ever been. And just falling in love with it as a reminder to honor myself and my body and be kind to myself. My silly looking bright yellow rain poncho. My pea pot. Now, if you don't know what a pea pot is, it's a little plastic tub that you could take into your casitas that did not have indoor plumbing so that you didn't have to go out to the outhouse in the middle of the night. And every time I got up to pee in the middle of the night, I fell in love with my pea pot over and over again. I fell in love with myself, with Bill and Susan and Chris, with laughter, with my partner who wasn't with me, with my daughter, with the world just as it is, with a sneeze, and with the joy of wishing somebody blessing when they sneeze, not on autopilot, not as an automatic response, but as my heart leaping open to that person. There is just so much in this world to fall in love with when my heart is steady and open. And all the joys of falling in love with these ordinary things, even the snake who surprised me crawling out underneath the steps, walking up to the dining hall, reminding me, pay attention, notice who's here. All right. And then there were the barriers, the difficult places, the challenges. And I brought with me, let me stop sharing. Well, let me show you this. This is a picture I took of this little turtle I had brought with me, representative of my whole 40 plus year career in the field of problem gambling that I'm fully retiring from this coming year. And the turtle had been our mascot in many programs, Slow and Steady and all of that. And on the way to Albuquerque, it occurred to me I should leave the turtle as a way of releasing and letting go that part of my life. And so I put the turtle at the base of the lightning tree in his little nest there, watching over the meditators who would sit at the base of the tree. I thought, what a lovely place for my turtle to also retire and be let go of. And then the next day, as I was sitting drinking tea on the porch and watching the lightning tree, I felt this tug of my heart with the turtle calling me and saying, I'm scared and I'm cold. Please don't leave me here. And I almost ran to the tree. I don't run anymore. I almost ran to the tree to rescue my little turtle who was calling to me. And I realized this turtle represented all the places in myself I had abandoned, that I had neglected, that I tried to push out with aversion, all those unwanted places. And we had talked about making the unwanted wanted, parts of us, parts of our world, and welcoming it all. As Catherine said, the task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it and embrace them. And I found my little turtle upside down on its back, having been blown off its little perch and nest. And I apologized. I begged its forgiveness for abandoning it. and promised that I wouldn't do that again. And then joy just bubbled up, joy at not abandoning all those neglected parts of myself that I couldn't even name, but I knew they were there. I knew I had tried to push them out. All the people I had abandoned in my life, all the situations I had pushed out rather than cherishing as part of it all. A really moving experience. And my turtle is now here, never to be abandoned again and to be cherished and put on a shelf where the cats can't find it and knock it off. So many experiences. And the learnings, just to summarize, one was I can let go of fixing and figuring it out. When a difficulty came up, I didn't have to go down the rabbit hole of how am I going to fix this? How am I going to figure it out? And I could just listen to and feel into my embodied heart and what it needed in that moment and provide that comfort. And I could learn not to cling to joy. It's the poem that Bill often reads to us. He who binds him to himself a joy does the winged life destroy. But he who kisses the joy as it flies lives in eternity's sunrise. And joy came and went after my experience with the Buddha tree. And, this is what Buddha got. I thought that was my peak experience for the retreat, and joy would not come back. Well, it faded, but it came back again and again and again. It was amazing. I could let it go and it would return, and it just unbelievable. And the joy of welcoming it all and not abandoning any part of me, any part of others, any part of the world. And that it's possible to fall in love with the world, with myself, with humanity, all over again and again with wonderment and delight. And just so much gratitude to all of the pieces of the practice, to the Sangha, our Sangha, the meditation Sangha, the world Sangha, my teachers, the teachings that continue to hold and nurture me and are the ground from which joy and love grow and blossom. And the sense that this is possible, joy is possible. We can do this. Joy can blossom in our hearts. Just stay tuned. Keep coming back. There's more to come, and we are never finished. So thank you for your kind patience in listening to me and letting me share my retreat experiences. Let's share our practice. Let's share our practice. First feeling joy in what our bodies can still do and sensing into what they need. Those lovely cat-like stretches, lubricating any cranky joints. And Janet, I don't remember the name of Bill's poem. It's by William Blake. Getting ready, making adjustments, getting as comfortable as possible in this moment, honoring any aches and pains and crankiness of any body parts, supporting with pillows or cushions or blankets. And just taking the time to allow breathing to be noticed as it's already happening. There you are, my breath. Thank you for being here. Let me give you the space you like and you need to breathe freely. As I settle back, allow the body to receive breathing, letting the body do its thing and just breathe without need for my orchestration or direction. Just feeling into breathing's natural rhythm, natural pace, whatever that is for you in this moment. Setting aside all our typical ways of thinking and doing and busyness. They have their place, but just not now. Slowing down just a bit. Feeling whatever steadiness there is in your base, in your foundation. Shoring up that holding environment, our inner space, where we can create some safety, some comfort and ease, a bit of calmness. A space where the conditions for joy and kindness, well-being can be cultivated and nurtured. Or we can invite our mind be a bit more peaceful, even with its restlessness, its energy swirling. And our heart can be comforted in whatever way it might need in this moment. honoring whatever arises with welcome, in the paraphrased words of Rumi from the guest house. Welcome all, even if they're a crowd of sorrows. Meet them at the door, laughing, smiling, arms wide open, heart open. And in the last 5 minutes of this practice, perhaps being a bit curious about what it would feel like to fall in love with your next breath, to fall in love with this breath, this moment. And as we get ready to conclude this practice, dropping in some gratitude for coming together in this moment to be present and support ourselves and each other with love and joy.